G'day, hopefully doing very well, keeping healthy and safe. I'm doing pretty sweet on this side of a desk. Recently I actually attended an Asus event to actually experience their glass-free 3D laptop. Now that was amazing. I was mind blown by actually the experience, and I tried to record it, but unfortunately you won't be able to experience, as you usually can't really record that 3D glass-free thing over another camera. You probably need a 3D camera for that. Now, there was another laptop which actually caught my attention and caught a lot of other people's attention as well. And I also think it's another highlight at that event, and that is this Asus Zenbook S13 OLED laptop. Now this is a 13-inch ultra light, ultra thin notebook, and I have actually done a few reviews of a few laptops which are 1 or under 1 kilo category, and this one is a little different. And the reason why this one has actually grabbed my attention, besides this beautiful gorgeous 2.8K display, is unlike the other ones usually would be this thin. We only get 2 Thunderbolts or maybe 1 Thunderbolt or USB-C port, but this Asus have done is, even though it's nice and thin, we still retain what I find very functional is the HDMI port. It's a full-size HDMI port, and that is absolutely fantastic for business because you can connect this up to projectors. Till the day we actually get USB-C projectors, I love having the HDMI port on laptop. Now that makes it very functional for business, as I just don't like carrying dongles or adapters with me. Now besides that, it also has the USB type A port and also a headphone jack, so you got your full range of ports. You also have your 2 USB-C ports, in this one case because it's Intel, and it is Intel Evo certified as well. This has a Thunderbolt 4, and it is absolutely fantastic. You've got your full range of ports, and you still have this 1 centimeter thickness, and it is 1 kilo. So woof, we've got it all here. Now besides that, and that 2.8K OLED display, also the price. Now here in Australia you can get the i5 version for just under $2,000. That's something I was not expecting for ultra light, ultra thin laptop. That is absolutely fantastic. Now I will be doing the temperature test on this and have a look at some of the features as well. So I will be putting timestamps along this video so you can skip to different sections you may be interested, save you time. The Zenbook S13 comes with a 63 watt-hour battery, and I managed to get 10 hours and 34 minutes for the Modern Office battery life test in PC Mark 10, and also 2 hours and 37 minutes for gaming. For me, I'll actually consider this all-day battery life. The weight of the Zenbook S13 OLED is 1.05 kilos plus the 65 watt power adapter becomes a combined weight of 1.39 kilos that you might be carrying around with you. Measuring the color gamut coverage of the 2.8K OLED display, which has a maximum luminance peak of 550 nits, it resulted with 100% sRGB coverage, 95.7% Adobe RGB coverage, and 98.7% DCI-P3 coverage. This is high enough to work on photo and video editing tasks. There are 2 speakers located on the bottom front on either side of the S13. And when I tested out the maximum volume of the speakers, it managed to measure the peak of 81.8 decibel. Now I'll actually consider this on the quiet end, but it's the louder part of the quiet end. And as for the sound of the speakers, this had a very surprising quite a bit of bass for being a thin laptop. Now we actually have very strong highs, and also for the very first time lows as well. And what I would say is kind of the mids are not as strong as the highs, so it is balanced towards the highs but has that bass to back it up. Very interesting sonic sounding speakers, which you'll see in one of my later videos where I actually compared this with some gaming laptops which had a bit of bass, and you'll see this one will keep up. Now we also have very decent reverb and also great clarity even when it's at its maximum volume. Overall, these speakers are what I consider very decent and way above average for a thin light laptop. This is a recording from the 1080p webcam from the Zenbook S13. This is the video and audio unedited so you can hear and see what the quality of the webcam is like. And as always, I've got two types of currently turned on. I've got my one studio light turned on, also the downlights in this room turned on for ambience. Now I'm going to turn off my one studio light, see how this adjusts. I think it adjusts the absolute very quick there. And I think the color accuracy is not too bad as well from my side here. Now, the two downlights in front of me is a bit far away, so there's not much light hit on my face. So this is what I consider a dark environment. If you're in an office environment, you have much more light than what I'm currently at. And I'll turn my one studio light back on. You'll see this just again adjusted pretty good. I think the colors is actually doing pretty well as well for a little bit of warmness, and I think it is nice. Now, definitely love to hear what your thoughts of this 1080p webcam. Put a comment below. As for the build construction of the Zenbook S13 OLED, this is completely built of aluminium alloy. Now there are two types of alloy here. Now for the palm rest as well for the sides and also the bottom back cover, now that is magnesium aluminium alloy. Now for the back of the lid or the display, now that is a very different one. This is actually, as you can see, it's very unique and pretty. Now this is plasma ceramic aluminium alloy now, and supposedly it's going to be unique for every different laptop. It's a very interesting process. But one of the main key points of this ceramic alloy is that it is recyclable after being disposed. So that is absolutely can be very good for the sustainability part. So we're going to tick that off very well. Now, as for me doing the bend test, I'm going to do that, and I'm a little bit afraid because simply these are 1 kilo and ultra thin. Even though they are ultra thin, they still have a lot of sturdiness, but I don't want to do too much, as I don't really, you shouldn't be putting so much stress in, but it's able to survive that. You can see that. Now, I am also going to do the flex test for the keyboard. Now, again, ultra thin laptop. This is like, it's 1 centimeters completely, but that's handling pretty well there. I'll put quite a bit of pressure. It has just flexed a little bit, but seriously, that's less than 1 centimeter. This is probably around about 0.7 of a centimeter that we've got left, or maybe probably a little less than that. So that actually is very sturdy for that. And I'll put a lot of pressure there for that. So that's actually doing very well for an ultra thin laptop. Now, as for the hinge here, we'll just do one finger test so you can have a look at what this will feel like. Now that is very nice and smooth. It's consistent, smooth all the way through, and it pretty much goes 180 degrees, as you can see here. Now, as it does up to about 90 degrees, it starts lifting the bottom back as it uses the actual lid of the display to actually lift the bottom of the laptop up, just so you get a nice little angle for typing. Now, besides that, you also will lift up just so the two inlet air holes here to actually get cooler air for the laptop to breathe. But definitely the hinge is pretty good. Now I'll be just doing the quick wiggle test to see if it is clamped well, even though we have very nice, and I can see that is clamping very well. It's not even letting go, is that? So we got a very well made hinge here, and I'm just going to just do this here. Now I don't see this happening on this because I know how the feel of this plasma ceramic thing. Now what I've done on this on, I think it was the Fujitsu, and that was wobbly here, being 1 kilo, but this is not wobbly. This is actually very straight, very sturdy and solid. So beautiful construction, and just the feel of it feels nice, and this look definitely unique there. The keys on the keyboard is quiet sounding keys, and yet they also have quite a bit of key travel, which is a bit of a surprise for a thin laptop like this. And it also is backlit with 4 settings: off, low, medium and high. And we've got some relatively nice size keys with good spacing in between. I say these are very nice keys to actually type with. Now, as for the trackpad, it is quite a large trackpad for a 13-inch, and it is very glass feel and silky smooth, and it's also mechanical. So it is hinged at the top, and you can depress it at the bottom, and while depressing the trackpad, it feels like it's very nicely well constructed. It doesn't have that clicking issue that I've experienced from other laptops, and it also has multi-gesture support. Looking at the temperatures and fan nodes, when I took my measurement, the ambient temperature in the room was 20 degrees Celsius and the ambient room noise measured in at 35 decibels. So before we get started, as always, I'll just give you a rough estimate that your average hand is anywhere between 33 to 35 degrees Celsius, just to give you an idea how hot or how cool this laptop could be. So I took my base measure when the computer was idle and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty much the same temperature as your hand. And as for the fan noise, it was pretty much dead silent, so it measured in at 35 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 44 degrees Celsius. Then I put 20% load on the computer. That's pretty much average use. That's tasks like office, activity work, surfing web, streaming video, and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 38 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it still measured in at 35 decibels. Even though it measured in as if it was quiet, I can hear the fan spinning a little bit when I put my ear pretty much right next to the keyboard. And as for the average internal core temperature, it was 48 degrees Celsius. Then I put 100% load on the computer with standard fan mode, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 46 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it measured in a maximum of 38 decibels, which isn't really that loud at all. And the average internal core temperature was 69 degrees Celsius. Then I changed to performance profile in my Asus with 100% load, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 47 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it spun all the way up to a maximum of 39 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 61 degrees Celsius. I also measured the bottom back cover while I had 100% load, and the hottest area around the back cover measured a maximum of 40 degrees Celsius. So I really wouldn't be putting this on your lap while the computer is running 100% load. Even though it is light, it is very tempting to put on your lap. But if you're just working on just average use, that's not too bad. But definitely don't put it on your lap when you put a lot of load on this laptop. These are the results of the benchmarks performed on the Zenbook S13. This one's configured with an i7 1355U processor with 16 gigs of RAM, 1TB SSD. And here's the results for Passmark, Citybench R23, PC Mark, 3D Mark, Geekbench, Crystal Disk Mark, Procon Office, Pugin Photoshop, Pugin Lightroom, Pugin Premiere Pro, Blender, Eugene Engine, and SpecView Pref. Let's have a quick look at the internals. So you can straight away see after removing the back cover that the 63 watt-hour battery covers around about 60% of this notebook, as it has pretty good battery life. Now the battery connector is right here, so you need to disconnect the battery for troubleshooting or diagnosing power issues or battery issues. This is the connector here. Now the top left here, we've actually got the M.2 slot for the storage, the NVMe. It does support the 2280 format. We do have thermal tape here to help with the transfer of the heat to the back cover, which is aluminum alloy. Now we've got the processor right here, which is done by 2 heat pipes. It's nice to see they've actually done. Now we do have soldered memory or soldered RAM. Now this one is configured with 16 gigs. You can get up to 32 gigs. Now there is no DIMM slots for upgrading RAM, so you need to configure the correct amount of RAM or memory when you purchase this laptop. If you're in the market for an ultra-light, ultra-thin laptop and used for business, pretty much retaining all your ports, this Zenbook S13 OLED, I would not go past. This thing is definitely on either on your wish list, or I definitely say have a look at one of these. Even just hold it, you can feel the difference on this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now you've got this beautiful, gorgeous 2.8K OLED display, and I love the sharpness and brightness and also the vibrance on this OLED. It's a matured OLED display that Asus has been doing for a few years now. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got very decent speakers, surprising for an ultra thin laptop like this one here, and we've got a really nice keyboard and trackpad to work with. And again, I just can't say anymore enough is that the fact that we have all our ports absolutely fantastic. Now, definitely something I can easily recommend if you're in a market for a laptop, and the price is absolutely fantastic there. I hope you find this video informative or enjoyed it. If you did, even support my channel, smash that like button for me. Share this video out, it does help me out as well. Definitely thank you for those. And as always, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.